Captain Zexthai clicked his mandibles in satisfaction as he reviewed the intelligence report one final time. The human diplomat, Ambassador Sarah Chen, would be traveling through the Keth Nebula tomorrow, alone, save for a minimal security detail. Perfect. The consortium had underestimated humanity for too long. These bipedal mammals had stumbled into galactic politics barely 50 cycles ago, yet somehow managed to secure trade agreements that should have taken centuries to negotiate. Their representative, this Chen creature, had personally cost his species 3 lucrative mining contracts in the Outer Rim. Time to remind the humans of their place. The plan is simple. Zexthai addressed his crew aboard the stealth cruiser Vengeance Talon. We intercept the humans' vessel, take her alive, and broadcast our demands across the galaxy. The humans will learn that the Keth sovereignty is not to be trifled with. His lieutenant, Vashitor, shifted nervously. Captain, the intelligence suggests this human female is unusual. She has no formal military training, yet nothing. Zexthai's crest flared crimson. She's a soft diplomatic creature from a species that learned to use plasma weapons last week. What could possibly go wrong? 12 hours later, Zexthai was beginning to understand what could go wrong. The ambush had proceeded flawlessly. They'd disabled the human diplomatic vessel, boarded it, and found Ambassador Chen exactly where expected, in her quarters, apparently meditating. She'd surrendered immediately, offering no resistance as they bound her hands and transported her to their ship. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it was apparently just the beginning. Chen sat in the detention cell with an expression of serene calm that unnerved the captain. She hadn't demanded to know why she was captured. She hadn't threatened retaliation. She hadn't even asked for food or water. She'd simply smiled and said, "Thank you for the opportunity." Opportunity for what? Zexthai had been afraid to ask. Captain, Vashitor's voice crackled through the comm. We're receiving multiple responses to our ransom broadcast. Excellent. Which governments are negotiating for the humans' release? A long pause. None, sir. But we're getting communications from others. Zexthai hurried to the bridge where his communications officer looked distinctly queasy. Report, he barked. Sir, we've received 17 messages from various criminal organizations congratulating us on capturing the human diplomat. The officer's voice wavered. They're thanking us. Thanking us. And there are 43 messages from corporate entities expressing relief that Ambassador Chen has been temporarily removed from negotiations. The officer swallowed hard. They're offering to pay us to keep her longer. Zexthai felt a cold dread creeping up his spine. What about the human government? One message, sir, very brief. The officer transferred it to the main screen. The message read, Good luck. Human Diplomatic Corps. That's it? Zexthai sputtered. No demands for her return. No threats? Actually, sir. The officer pulled up another screen. The Galactic Stock Exchange shows share prices rising across 12 sectors since news of the ambassador's capture broke. There's speculation that several pending trade disputes might finally be resolved in other species' favor. Zexthai turned toward the detention level, a horrible suspicion forming in his mind. He found Ambassador Chen exactly as they'd left her, sitting cross-legged in the center of the cell. She looked up as he entered, that same serene smile on her face. Captain Zexthai, she said pleasantly. I was wondering when you'd come to talk. How do you know my name? Your crew has been very chatty. Did you know that Ensign Kraltith has been embezzling from the ship's supply budget, and that Lieutenant Vashitor has been passing information to the Hegemony Intelligence Service? Zexthai's blood ran cold. That's impossible. My crew is loyal. Chen tilted her head. Is it? Because according to the conversations I've been overhearing, morale hasn't been great since you started this little piracy venture. Apparently, kidnapping diplomats wasn't part of the job description when they signed on. You're lying. Am I? Chen stood gracefully despite her bound hands. Captain, you made a fundamental error. You assumed that taking me hostage would give you power over the humans. But you see, I wasn't just a diplomat. Zexthai backed toward the door. What are you? I'm a mediator, Captain. Do you know what that means? She took a step forward, and somehow the small human seemed to fill the entire cell. It means I specialize in finding solutions that work for everyone involved, solutions that make all parties feel like they've won. You're my prisoner. Am I? Chen smiled wider. Because from where I'm standing, you've just given me exactly what I needed. A captive audience aboard a ship full of dissatisfied crew members with plenty of time to work. Zexthai felt the walls closing in. Work on what? Why, negotiating their surrender, of course. Chen's eyes twinkled with something that might have been amusement. Did you really think I'd sit quietly in a cell without making friends? The captain's comm unit chirped. Vashitor's voice came through, tight with tension. Captain, we have a problem. The crew wants to talk. Talk about what? About the terms of our surrender to Ambassador Chen. Zexthai stared at the human diplomat, who gave him a little wave with her bound hands. You wanted a hostage, Captain, she said cheerfully. Instead, you got someone who turns hostage situations into job interviews. And honestly, your crew has some fascinating insights about Keth military operations that I think the Alliance would find very valuable. As Zexthai heard his own crew debating surrender terms in the corridor outside, he realized with dawning horror that he hadn't captured a diplomat at all. He'd kidnapped a force of nature, and somehow, she'd just taken over his ship without firing a shot.